Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. Thanks for waiting. My camera would not start. Well, my camera started. The streaming software that I use would not pick up the camera. So I had to like reboot it multiple times and turn it on and off multiple times. But we are here. Let me introduce myself. My name is Jules. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a commercial food photographer, stylist, cookbook author, and lifelong planner. And every single Saturday, we sit here for an hour and a half and we chat and we talk about what's going on in our lives and we plan. Some people journal, some people do art, some people just hang out and listen to me yammer. Um, if you are watching, come say hi and chat and let me know what you are working on this week. Hello, Anomic. Um, this week I am setting up my week in my note biz. What are you working on, Anomic? It's my first week of staycation, but I'm doing a lot of work of this staycation. I don't know. I mean, I know how it happened. It's because I did not pre-plan properly for this upcoming week. Um, but I mean, yeah, this is my staycation and I have a lot going on. So we will see. We will see. But so my priority for this week, regardless of everything that's going on, is to relax. So first, let me get my colors out. My time off color is olive, and I don't have that here. One second. You're planning for next week. Awesome. Or planning for the new week. I think that's the same thing. I have to grab my mild liner. Archer might start barking, um, and I might have to leave again. He refused to settle before my stream, so I had to stick him in the kennel, and they're kennel trained. They like their kennel. But he's normally not in the kennel at this time of day. He's normally like on the couch, relaxing, sleeping, chilling out while I'm doing my live stream. And today he was just deciding to cause problems and be anxiety dog. Anxiety dog. So I put him away. Um, and now he's like staring at me side eye from within the kennel. Like, why am I in here? And I'm like, you know what you did, buddy. You know what you did. Okay, so priority for this week. Let's do this color first. Oh, my glasses are not doing me any favors. My prescription, I just got these glasses, what, in January? And I swear my prescription has already changed again to getting worse and worse. Like, my eyesight is getting so progressively worse so quickly. Like, normally it's never been stable, but the rate at which now it is now declining is leaving me concerned that I may permanently, like, get to a point where I can't do photography anymore. Because I can't even with my glasses on, I cannot focus properly or see the planner properly, and it makes doing things incredibly difficult. It's frustrating. That's for dang sure. Okay, let me just. Oops. One day I will get used to the mild liner. I will. People who can just like use these and have it fill the grid without having to use the fine tip to fill things in afterwards amaze me. Okay, that's close enough. Okay, so my priority, relax when able. Priority. Uh, priority, relax whenever possible. And let me, oops, put a bunch of exclamation points to really drive the home, or the point home. underline it as well. Okay, keep this here. Oh, I didn't even do my lines. I am so not with it today. My last few days, so I injured my groin sometime in the past week. And the past couple of days, it's been really, really grumpy. You're gonna have to watch me put my lines in. I'm like, something's not right here. Um, and the past couple of days, I've been extra tired. I had a couple days, if anybody remembers, where my spoons were like at 7 out of 10. And the past couple days, they've been back down to like 4 and 5. Already in vacation mode. No, part of me is in vacation mode, and part of it is just I'm really tired. I've been doing so many, like yesterday was a day of multiple really possibly like injurious accidents in the kitchen, where it was almost to the point where maybe I should not be recipe developing today. Like I almost grabbed, you know, it reminded me of an episode. Wait, was it Friends? I think so. I almost grabbed. So I have an oven air fryer, and it has like trays, and I almost grabbed the 400 Fahrenheit tray out of the air fryer without an oven mitt. And I had to yell at myself to stop as I'm about to, like literally out loud, I had to say, "Stop, Jules," as I'm about to touch the hot, very, very, very hot um, oven rack. That is how brain fog I am in. I almost reached for a falling knife on the pointy end of things instead of jumping away from a falling knife. Again, I had to yell at myself to stop. Do not grab the falling knife. Just let it fall. So, and there was something else, a really other, like really bad mistake. And anybody who has read my cookbook, Crip Up the Kitchen, like one of my safety things, there's a whole section on kitchen safety, is do not cook if you're overly fatigued and your brain is extra foggy. And that is why, whoops, you should not cook when you're tired, is because you will do things that can lead to serious injury. So for people who do not know what I'm doing, I am sectioning off um, sections of my planner that correspond with, I mean, these are basically where lines existed in the Jibun Techo biz for different sections, and I'm just recreating them I recreate them in the A5 note, in the notes, take a note, because it works for how I plan to have specific sections of the day. It obvious where certain parts begin and end, and it just makes planning easier for me when I have these sections have a line color that is visible instead of the perforated dotted lines that are faint lines that are in the take a note that I love, but also makes certain parts of my planning process difficult if I do not have the darker lines in place. Anomic is saying lots of dangerous stuff in the kitchen. Exactly. And these are Uni Pin, Pin, fine liners. This is a point .1. This is, what color is it? Dark gray, and this is the point .1 sepia. It also comes in black, and I have and I have a very, very light gray as well, and they come in point .1 and point .5. And I use both this dark gray and the sepia because they're basically exact matches to the color of the grids in as I take a note. So yeah, what else is going on? Yeah, I pulled my groin, so I'm extra fatigued as I'm not like it's when I roll over in my sleep, it's waking me up. And the thing about a groin injury is it doesn't hurt until you move it in a very, very specific way, and then it gets very angry with you, and it makes me angry. It's because it lies to me. Like when I completely tore my shoulder at the beginning of last year, it hurt all the time. So I knew not to use it in specific ways while I was rehabbing it, and I didn't continually re-injure it. Whereas a groin injury, at least mine, because it's not like it's just a strain and not like a complete tear. Like every shoulder muscle, I front back side, I tore my shoulder completely all around, and the collarbone as well. Um, so this just hurts when I use it the wrong way. But the problem when I use it the wrong way, then I'm re-injuring it. Anyways, now I have to like do rehab again on my groin, and I can't do my big lifts for who knows how long. My trainer and I have come up with a very good rehab plan, but I worry that it's going to take me longer to rehab my groin than it did my shoulder, just because I'm going to continually, unintentionally re-injure it because it doesn't give me that feedback that it hurts or that it's injured until I do something that's making it more injured and aggravating it. It's frustrating. Groin injuries are some of the most tricky to have to rehab. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I'm hoping. And then when I do go back to lifting, doing my heavy lifts, it's having to go start low and slow, like really at the very, very bottom, and slowly build the weight back up until I get to where I was before I injured myself. Okay, so that's done. Okay, so priority for Monday. So it's recipe. I'm doing recipe development on Monday, but also, like, here's a conundrum. Do I check these off? Do I? Hmm. Do I put priority? Like normally, this first section is my priority for that day, and it's color coded. Do I make it recipe development, or do I make no? This is my priority for the week. We'll go recipe development. We'll do it like we usually do. So recipe development on Monday and Tuesday. Oh, my glasses. Got to figure out where I can put my planner so I can best see everything. It's frustrating. And then that will be at 11:30. Oh, on Monday. I'm not looking forward to Monday. I have to make puff pastry. And it wouldn't be so bad if it's just like a regular lamination process, but the puff pastry that it goes towards, which is like an egg tart, it needs to be done in such a way that it creates a spiral on the bottom of the tart. Otherwise, I would just be using store-bought puff pastry because who has 5 hours to make puff pastry? Because that's how long it takes. I mean, Liester's like lots of 30-minute, put it in the fridge and let it rest. But that's still 5 hours of your day going towards making puff pastry. And I don't even know if it's worth it. I'm not looking forward to it, is all I'm saying. Okay. Priority on Wednesday. I almost got it done this week, was to finally edit my planner chat. That's not right. As to why I planner hopped, but then I had a software update that took forever for the video editing software, and then I had to wait for my watch, which I'm loving, the Pixel Watch 3 so far. And then I had a meeting, and then and then I had to wait some more. By the time my brain was just done, and I couldn't. There wasn't enough time to really get into it. Social media creation, 850. So let's see. I have to do a radio interview on Wednesday, but I think it's at 2 p.m. Oh, did I book it for lunch? Or maybe it's 1 p.m. CBC Radio. 1 p.m. Okay. So yeah, before I should have some time beforehand. So let's do 11:30. Meeting is 800. Let me get that out right now. Um, that's one. I think it's only gonna be half an hour, but let me just book the whole 1 hour and write that in now so I don't forget. Sometimes CBC radio. Okay. Yeah, it's really it has a few features so far that's not available on the Pixel 2 that I'm kind of digging, like the morning brief. You just wake up in the morning and it just lets you know how your sleep was and your daily, like it's just a new feature that I enjoy having on my watch that wasn't on the 2. It's currently, it takes 2 weeks to calculate my cardio load, which is a feature that I'm looking forward to. And I don't think that's available on other watches. And just the way that I see it calibrating in this arrived Thursday, so this is like 2.5 days once today's over wearing the watch. Um, but once that 2 weeks is over of it learning my activity levels, how much I exercise, my heart rate variability, and all that other stuff, I'm looking forward to that. Because I do work out quite a bit, and I'm just wondering if it's going to tell me not to work out so much that I'm overdoing it. I don't know. Or if it's going to tell me to work out more to reach my cardio goals. Heart health. That's the word I'm looking for. Um, so that's an interesting thing that I'm looking forward to seeing once that is done. And yeah, I hope like the your heart has stopped thing. Never want to test that. But there's just a few other things, the way that the data is presented in the Fitbit app, that I like when the data is coming from the 3, and also the longer battery life. That's the main reason why I got it, was because of the longer battery life, and that's the thing so far. Instead of having to charge my watch twice a day, I now only have to charge it once a day, which is a huge difference. And with the 2, I didn't have, like, I had my screen, I didn't have always on, like I had all the battery saving mode, but I still had to charge my watch in the morning to 100%. And then after my workout, and if I didn't charge my watch after my workout, then sometimes it wouldn't last again until the morning. Um, Now I just putting it on the charger when I'm in the shower after I exercise is enough to keep it charged. So that's that's a big thing. Um, but we'll see, right? I've only had it for like it only arrived Thursday, so we'll see how it goes as we discover stuff. Okay, That's that. So 6 o'clock, I'm on deload this week. So it's only 2 hours of exercise with my shower only. It's really not that long. It's very light stuff, especially now that I'm rehabbing my groin. Oh, break time. 1:30 here. What else? We finished watching Bridgerton last night, season 3, and I don't know. It's like season 1 by far superior season. Season 2, I don't remember much about it. Season 3 had some good stuff in it, but I don't know. It didn't have enough. Like you knew exactly how it was going to end because that's like it had the romance tropes because it has to. It's not romance unless it has those specific tropes. It's like a whatever with romantic elements, but romance has to have very specific tropes for it to be romance, and that's why people read it or watch it is because of those tropes. But the way the tropes played out, I mean, I think this is because it was so obvious this season how it was going to end. Like I never really worried for anybody. And Namika's saying they tried to start the show but couldn't get into it. Yeah, it's definitely, I'm not a fan of romance. I don't like the tropes. Um, there's some romantic comedies that if they have something else happening in it, like the modern Romancing the Stone. Oh, with Channing Tatum and the Speed Girl. Gosh, what is that movie? Channing Tatum. What is her name? Romancing the Stone. Maybe that will romancing romantic comedy if I do that. Not Magic Mike. The Lost City with Sandra Bullock. That's it. So Sandra Bullock, because it had like really, really funny comedic elements, and it also flipped a lot of the tropes and the stereotypes completely on its head. The Lost City is I love it, and I'm probably going to watch The Lost City again. And I'm like saying they like character or they like romances, but they didn't care about the characters. Yeah, I don't care about any of the characters, and I don't care about the romances. Um, I think for me, the reason why I kept watching it in season 1 is because there were a few WTF moments that made me really angry that I had to keep watching to see how it resolved. Like I was watching out of anger, but I ended up being entertained in the end. Like I found some of the writing to be pretty clever. Um, admin time is next. Yeah, I didn't care about any of the characters. There was a few things though that I was like, I need to know. Like this is pretty messed up. I need to know how this ends, and it better not end. Yeah, so that's what kept me watching. Um, I think it's almost time for me to ditch this pen. I have to like go over it twice. Yeah, no. This is dead. Let me put this up here for now and get that's 990. Gosh. A few of these I have to start like getting spares of my spares. Yeah, this is much better. Um, and then tonight we start watching Property Brothers, Backed by the Bros, which is basically them fixing up messes that they basically caused via being part of the self home improvement. Um, it's been on our PVR forever. Ecosystem where everybody watches these self improve or self home improvement shows, not self improvement, home improvement shows, and think they can do it, and so they do it and they screw things up. And Backed by the Bros is basically um, them coming in to help people to fix their mistakes that basically were created by watching the Property Brothers, which I think is a hilarious concept. And there's a lot of Property Brothers shows that I enjoy. So it's been sitting on our PVR for like 6 months. So we're finally, or however long it's been since. That's admin time. Yes. Oh, I forgot to do breakfast. Um, so that's what we're going to start watching tonight. And then, yeah, our list is so long. And then just a whole bunch of new shows just came out this past few days that we've had to add to the list. And my list just keeps getting longer and longer. And I don't know if I'm ever going to catch up, especially now that the fall television um, season has started again. So we'll see how that goes. Breakfast. So Wednesday writing. Okay, now I write in a Wednesday, which is this color. Is it? Gotta make sure, because I'm also pretty sure this is my color for the week. Yes. No, that was the wrong page. I have to check to see. Yeah, writing is 020. When I was picking up my colors, I didn't think about the fact that there would be some conflicts when some of these colors are also colors that are for my color scheme of the week. So, body check-ins. Oops. Let me also do my to-do headline. I think I only have the one thing that, yeah, edit and schedule planner chat. Edit and schedule planner chat. Thankfully, it's one of the videos that it's been sitting there for 2 months, and thankfully, none of the reasons or content has really all that changed. Okay, so let's start putting stuff in. Wednesday, milk delivery. Nope, that's the wrong place. I will fix it afterwards. Milk delivery. And HelloFresh delivery. Also reminds me, I have to put, I'm going to be away the second week of October. Um, I've been invited to do a cooking workshop at as part of BC Culture Days. So I'm going over to Vancouver. I don't know how I'm going to fix that. Probably put a sticker on it. And I have to put that in my calendar soon so that I don't forget about it when I plan next month. And Amik is asking if I heard about the NaNoWriMo debate. Oh my, oh debacle, yes. Oh my, and it's one thing, it's been one thing after another with them for like the past 2 to 3 years. And this one is extra super. Okay, well, last year I'm not gonna compare it to last year's scandal because last year's scandal is really really bad, and I'm not gonna talk about it um on this channel only because it will probably anger the algorithm because there's words that, yeah, there's just no way to talk about it um without having my video delisted by YouTube. Um, but this year, so it's not only the AI tools are okay, which they're not, and trying to put it on us disabled people, as in, well, it's classist and ableist to not use AI or allow people to use AI in their writing when there's not a single disabled. People are fed up altogether this year. Yeah, they've lost so many of their writers that have sat on their board, have left, and people who were like doing like there's a lot of people who have asked to remove their content from the Nano site. And one of the things that like I was getting to that has been really aside from disabled people being like, yeah, no, we don't need AI like that. Don't don't think that you're talking for us disabled people and you're wanting to keep a sponsor happy because your sponsor is an AI tool. Like whatever, just say this is our sponsor. Um, don't don't act like disabled people can't create without. Anyways, they're but one of the writers who did a workshop for Nano and also was on their board wrote to them and say, "Hey, I want to be removed, and I want no association." And they were, and to make it worse, like they were so condescending to this author, being like, "Oh, you misunderstand the situation, so let us explain it to you like you're 2 years old." They didn't say like you're 2 years old, but they did say you're misunderstanding the situation. You're probably just paying attention to what's on social media, and you're not getting a full picture of what our stance is. And the author is like, no, no, no. I read the post and I made my own informed decision with my own brain. Thank you very much. I have not misunderstood anything. I want my stuff removed from your site, and I no longer want to be associated with Nano. And but just the gall of them to be like, no, you don't. Your poor little brain can't possibly comprehend what you're reading, and you've misunderstood. You've paid like just imagine like the just the condescending um that's just so condescending. Like it's better it's they're just like digging in their grave. Yeah, like it was like it was just so bad. Please tell people they have no reading comprehension. And that their opinion to remove themselves from Nano is because of peer pressure and because of anger on the internet. Like I just it is so too much. And of course, the author was a woman because I mean, of course, video edit. Um, I whatever. It's just I've never participated in Nano. I've always envied people who could participate in Nano, and it's not because I can't write fast. Like it took me like 6 weeks to write my book that's currently um, out in submission, and it's like 66K words, somewhere around there. So once I have the idea, I mean, Crip Up the Kitchen didn't take that long either. So like I write once I have the idea, I can my writing proficiency is super super fast. Um, but it takes me a long time to develop the idea. And because I'm a get it right person and not like I hate the editing and revision process so much. And so I have to completely write the book in my head first before I put it on paper. And so like I can't just dump stuff and then come back to it later and edit it. It would never get finished. I hate editing. Like just thinking about it, oh my God. My process does not work for everybody. Do I outline? Yes. I outline even when I'm writing articles. When I'm writing articles, my outlines are basically the topic heading that you will see. Like if you were ever to read my one of my posts, you'll see a lot of headers. And so my outlines for posts are basically those topic headers. And sometimes I will put one or two bullets under the topic header for what I want to cover in that topic if I'm worried that I'm going to forget something. The more complex a topic is, the more I will put those bullets or one or two sentences to make sure I'm not forgetting anything that I want to cover. When I'm fiction writing, And it's the same when I'm writing nonfiction for my book, right? Because those were all based off of like articles and stuff. So nonfiction writing and article writing are basically the same process. Topic headings, bullets, and then I fill it in. Fiction, I write out all the characters, names, ages. I write a bio and backstory for all of them so that I understand their motivation throughout every, like they have whole entire stories that never make the page, but they do inform their decisions on the page. And then for each chapter, I give each chapter, I write the plot because every single chapter could be its own like it has a middle or beginning, middle, and end, right? But then it also makes you want to read more. Hold on, Archer, I'll let you out in a second. But I do write down, sometimes all I need is one sentence for the outline for a chapter. Sometimes I need a couple paragraphs. But I do outline after I've written it in my head. And then once it has that outline, and then make sure all the plot points lead up and resolve, and then I do the writing. Hold on, I gotta let Archer out of his kennel because he's now decided that he's going to behave. There you go, buddy. Go lay down on the couch. Good, good job, Archer. Yeah. So, um, my outline for not counting the character backstories, my outline for my book that's currently on submission, I think was like 3,000 words. So they're not like it's like a huge thing, but it's enough that I can very, very quickly move from point to point to point, and I always know where I'm going. When I started my, and some, it does have room to move. Like when I started my outline for the book that's out in submission, two chapters that I had in the middle, I got to that point and like it doesn't make sense to reveal that information now. This part of the plot needs to be moved to closer towards the end. And so there is room to change things because sometimes you're like, it's not like I something revealed itself. It just sometimes things you realize don't make sense until you actually get there and you realize this needs to be moved or this needs to be changed. Um, so I always like it's not a Bible or gospel, but it does help me get from point A to point B. And without that roadmap, I just can't get to point A or point B. It's just like planning. Become completely untethered in my day if I don't know what I have planned for the day. Doesn't mean my plan for the day can't be moved or can't be changed. But for me to have forward momentum, I need to have a plan. And it's the same way with my writing. I have no idea. I just like stare and like, what am I supposed to write? I have nothing. So yeah, and that's just my process. And then I edit as I go. I will write the chapter. Sometimes I will edit lines as I'm writing them, but mostly I write a chapter, I read it, and then I edit it. And because I have such a good memory, I know I have remember everything in the past. And sometimes I'll be like, I'll read a sentence. I'm like, oh, that creates a plot hole. This can't be that sentence needs to change. I never have to fix those things afterwards. And that has to do with my ridiculous um, memory that never forgets anything. So, and then once the book is done, I will reread it and it may get another line here or there edit. Um, but basically, my draft zero is the draft that goes out, um, is the final draft, just because of how I work. And that doesn't work for everyone. Like a lot of people say, I have 10 crappy drafts before I get to Delo. No, this is spin on Monday. Um, Before it goes out the door. But my process is stuff that it's pretty polished. My first draft is pretty polished. Anomic outlines as they go. Yeah, a lot of people do that as well. And then there are some people, like my agent is also an author, and outlining for them completely deload plus cardio, completely I don't want to say ruins their creative process, but I guess it is ruins their creative process. They're just unable to be creative. Dog food making days will be Wednesday. They're just unable to be creative. If they outline it, it just kills it for them. So everyone's different. I personally, me, can't write unless I have an outline. So, and I don't, I mean, a lot of people, I find, like, if you are stuck, if you have writer's block, then try outlining. Like, people who are planters who do both plotting and pantsing, I mean, that's a very, very valid form of writing. Whatever helps you write is what I say, right? Like, there's no hard and fast rules. Okay, other than write, you can't be a writer unless you write. Puff pastry. So whatever helps. Just don't use AI because first it's stealing other people's copyrighted work. Um, and they have found first people who have used, say, something like Chat GPT or whatever to help them like draft a first draft, and then they go in and edit it. It takes them 3 times as long because the AI copy is so terrible, they basically have to rewrite the whole entire thing. It doesn't even help them give them any ideas because it's just so terrible. Anomic is saying, same for them. They have to just let the story out of their head, then outline after the chapter is done to remember key points. Yeah. And if that's, yeah. Um, I'm fascinated by people who can work that way because my brain is just completely incapable. So Potat and um, the Prince Cake and oh wow, yeah, milk tarts and this is a big recipe development week. Only because I have so many pastry like doughs I have to prepare on Monday. So is this nope. Gotta do I'm not done yet. Don't skip steps, Jules. 89. So busy talking about writing, I got excited. I'm getting really antsy. There's two, I don't know if I talked about it last week or not, but with each week that goes by that I haven't heard back from two publishers specifically who normally I know if they were going to reject, they would have rejected by now. And the only reason why they would reject after having it for this long is because they've met with their sales teams and they don't think they can make the numbers work. But it's just with each week that goes on now, especially since some people have had my manuscript since February, and even with the slowdown that's currently happening in publishing, like that's a long time. Somebody offer already. Let's get this party rolling, or say no. You've made me wait for almost a year now. Like, come on. Either pass, please, so we can move on, or make me an offer. S or get off the pot, as my dad would say. Oh, I have to color in those lines. I will do it after I do this. It's frustrating. Especially because there's some topics in my that I topics in the book that are quite timely, and I'm worried that it's no longer going to be timely by the time it's published. Um, and I'm saying that as a nerve-wracking part. Very much so. Like, I'm fine with rejection, except for when that rejection is basically boils down to the character is too autistic. And I've had a couple of rejections that were basically boiled down to the author, or not the author, even though it is the author as well, not being able to relate to the autistic parts of the character. They didn't say use the autistic parts, but the parts that they said they could not relate to were specifically autism rep and autistic things. Um, so those rejections suck because that's like ableism and whatever. But if you're rejecting or passing, they don't like using the word rejecting. If you're passing because the writing is not something, it's not your specific flavor of writing that you enjoy, that is cool. There is lots of books I do not read because the writing isn't for me. It has nothing to do with the quality of the story or the quality of the characters. It's just in a writing style that I do not like, and I'm cool with that. No, last week, I don't know why. Last week tonight, and then there's a bunch of TV stuff this week. 22 minutes, and then what else? I guess Back by the Bros. How many episodes of Back by the Bros are there? Gotta check on that. We finally, also last Sunday, we finally got to the movie Atlas on Netflix. 10 episodes. Okay. And people were talking about how bad it was going into it. So my expectations were like on the floor. I had no expectations. And because, and I'm like saying you can't read stuff in second person. Yeah, I can't either. I also have a really hard time reading stuff in third person, even if it's third person close. I prefer first person narratives. It helps me to better understand the character when it is first person narrative versus third, even third person, like close. So Back by the Bros. Um, yeah, so Atlas, because it had parts in it that made me laugh, I thought it's not as bad as the people made it out to be, because it made me laugh. Andrew absolutely thought it was the most wasted time we spent in a while. I'm like, but dude, you laughed. Like, it can't be wasted time if you laughed. That's my logic, right? But it's not a good movie at all. Like, the criticism of Atlas is so ridiculous. But it's funny. So, if you haven't watched Atlas yet, and you just want to watch, like, you just want to watch a movie that you can have the occasional laugh and not have to spend any amount of emotional or mental energy laughing it or watching it because you're not going to care about the characters. The stakes, I mean, sure, the stakes are high, but you don't care. But you're going to laugh. Um, then I recommend Atlas. If you have no patience for just really not good movies, then yeah, um, don't don't bother watching it. But I don't think it's a waste of time. I got some laughs out of it. I went into it with zero expectations. I didn't even expect to laugh. So anything that happened after zero, and why was it on my list? Because some things, a lot of the time, when people say something is horrible, Andrew and I genuinely like it because normally reason why people don't like it is because it's slow, which means that it's character focused instead of plot focused. And I like character development, and I care. I want to know Plot, I don't care about the stakes in something unless I care about the people. And I can't, yeah. And so things like the Marvel movies, there's no stakes in it for me. I don't, they make me literally fall asleep because I don't care. Um, I have to care. So, yeah, normally the rule is if the reviews are generally not good, that means Andrew and I are going to enjoy it. So I was hoping it was one of those situations where people um, didn't like it because of like too much focus on character development. No, no, it deserves its bad reviews. Oh, but it's funny. I mean, it's not all the way through ha funny, but there are points that are definitely. I mean, if you want a good laugh, go into it with zero expectations. Is all I'm saying. Go into it with a zero. And then what are we on for this Sunday? We're almost through our movie list. I've added a couple more that I haven't quite. Oh, disclosure, and we're almost on The Color Purple. Looking forward to that. Though I've heard mixed. I love the original Color Purple so much, and the book. I'm very. I'm always nervous watching like revamps and reimaginings of it, but I should cross this off and put. We watched it September 7th. So, yeah, that will be in a couple weeks. Will be to The Color Purple. Okay, back to my priority. Relax. I don't need to put the full line this time. Priority. Relax. Even though I haven't given myself much time to relax. Wednesday. Oh. Oh. If I have time, we'll see. So I will put what video is 850 or 800? Social media creation 850. May just be getting nothing but relax day on Thursday. If I can get the video, I'm health and fitness, maybe. I'll start on that. We'll see. Relax is going to be, we'll see how I'm feeling. I'm going to pencil in or pen in editing video on Thursday. But there's a very good chance that on Thursday, I just do nothing but either meal plan, because I enjoy that, or play video games. Anamik is saying it's funny that as a kid watching The Color Purple so much went totally over my head. Really? Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to think. The first time I watched The Color Purple, when did it come out? Because I watched it when it first came to VCR or VHS. And so back in the day, it was like usually 2 years. It took 2 years after a movie. 1985. So it would have been on VHS 87, 88. So I would have been 11, 12-ish years old the first time I watched it. I'm just trying to remember. Like, I understood a lot of what was going on in terms of her abuse and some other things. And it could have been because I also had a very traumatic, I mean, I have complex PTSD for a reason. So it could be just because my home environment was not the greatest. And so that stuff didn't go over my head because I could relate in a way that is different, because a lot of the stuff she experienced was obviously race based, but also part of it was growing up poor. Um, yeah, I mean, I understood the bigotry and I understood the abuse. I didn't understand the bigotry to the extent that I do now because I was a white 11-year-old. Um, that didn't quite understand my queerness at the time. I was obviously a queer child, but and a lot of the abuses I experienced was because I was queer. But I didn't appreciate it as in like a medical how doctors appreciate an injury to figure out how to treat it the way that the insight that I have now. Um, and I'm saying the scenes were fade to black, and it didn't register to me the lesbian relationship part until you were like 9. Yeah, so yeah, I had that few years. I'm that few years older than you, where where I could have understood it. Yeah, especially because I mean, I had queer people in my life all my life too. It wasn't just me being the only queer person in my life growing up. I had a lot of queer people in my life growing up, which surprises people having that many as many queer people as I did in the 80s. But um, my parents were incredibly homophobic, but they had queer friends. You know, isn't what those like I can't be racist. I have a black friend type situation with my parents. It was that as well as we're not homophobic. We have gay people in our life situation. Um, okay, what's next? Friday's recipe development. But yeah, the new one. I've been on my list obviously for a very long time. I just that's why we haven't gotten to it yet. We've been like playing catch up, but I'm worried because the first one is just so good, like so good. It didn't win a bazillion Oscars for or get nominated at least. I don't remember if they won or not. I'm pretty sure they did for nothing. Do I have any deadlines? Oh, grocery delivery on Monday. I gotta put that in. I can't believe I forgot that. Oh, television. There's other things. Survivors happening. Uh-oh. I've got to fix that already. Wednesday night. Okay, is this going to cover it? Ah, perfect. Already have one set up. I think I need to actually shave a bit off to make it fit and fix that. I should have checked. I knew I had Premiere stuff. Anomic's saying that they heard it wasn't that good, the new one. Yeah, I've heard mixed reviews about it too. So, but again, it's one of those things are people like, yeah. I normally don't listen to reviews only because it could be it's because it is so beloved. Like the original cast was genius, absolute genius. Could be a bit of that. Survivor. I know that is not going to change, so I don't have to worry about the fact that I had to fix it or change it early. Yes, it's really hard to mess with a classic, and I just don't understand why. Like if they were, I'm trying like if they were ever to redo um I need this. Stand By Me. I'd be so upset. Like you can't. I don't think like there's no way Stand By Me can be redone. The Labyrinth. I would like to see a new Labyrinth. I mean that's a classic. Oh, but they. I mean Jim Henson though. Like the reason why the Labyrinth was so good was because of Jim Henson. And was it him? Is it still going to be good? I don't know. Um, it's hard to say. I mean, there's other great puppeteers and stuff, but a lot of the movies, like Yoda's not the same without Jim Henson doing Yoda. And I isn't Yoda now like CGI'd? It's like you can't CGI Yoda. Yoda's supposed to be a puppet. And I'm saying All of the Wiz was better. than The Wizard of Oz. I've never seen The Wiz, and I've never. Every time I look to see if I can stream it in Canada, I can't find anywhere to stream it. But yeah, I've never seen The Wiz, and I love The Wizard of Oz. Funny story about The Wizard of Oz. This is so I. It takes a lot to scare me. And the reason why it takes a lot to scare me is because a lot of things that are in horror movies are so far outside of reality that like I can't turn off my suspension of disbelief for them to scare me. Like I find zombie movies absolutely hilarious. I mean, I bust a gut. Just it's just so absurd to me that I can't not find it funny. Um, So this is know this, and I've been this way my whole entire life. It has been very difficult to scare me my whole entire life. I could not watch Wizard of Oz all the way through, I think, until I was like 10 years old. The first time, um, I think I was like six. And the first time that the Wicked Witch made her appearance when they were in Munchkinland, because it was a woman with a green face and it looked like an actual person. But anyways, I screamed so loud and I started bawling, inconsolable, and I ran out of the room screaming. And there was no getting me back into the room. I was terrified. I was scarred. And so I just sat in a room and cried at my grandma's house. I remember it vividly. Like we're watching it in my grandma's living room, and I bolted, and there was no getting me back. So it's on TV every single year. Skipped it when I was 7. Attempted again when I was 8. And the second time through, like I got so much anxiety when she appeared in Munchkinland. But when she appears again in the orchard, I couldn't take it anymore. That was it. I noped out of there. Same huge crying and bawling and screaming, and there's no way that I'm watching this movie. It wasn't until I was 10 years old that I could sit through the Wizard of Oz without running out of the room, absolutely terrified. I mean, I was still terrified by the Wicked Witch. I think I stopped. I think I was like 11 years old before the Wicked Witch stopped terrifying me to the point of like having a complete panic attack and meltdown. The child who never gets scared, terrified by the Wicked Witch. Um, because I recognize the person, right? Like I recognize them pre-witch to being the witch, and there was just something about that transformation that my brain was like, "Oh hell no! What if that happens to me? Is someone else like there's evil people in my life? Are they going to turn green and become horrible?" Like it was that type of situation that was running through my head, and I just could not deal with it. And I'm like saying Michael Jackson and Diana Ross together as a classic. Yeah, I've heard great things about it. I just have not. Like I'm just. When did it come out? It was probably one of those things where. Okay, so this is really racist. What I'm about to say, but this is like the type of environment I grew up in. We watched The Wizard of Oz because it was, or not The Wizard of Oz. We watched the Color Purple because it was an Oscar movie, and we watched all the Oscar. My mom watched all the Oscar movies, and but because it had an all black cast, I don't think we would have watched it otherwise. Like the romanticism of came out in '78, yeah, but it would have been on TV, or my parents would have had a chance to rent it when I was older. If I had a lot of people of color in it, especially black people, we just didn't watch it because of my parents' racism. Like my The Gone with the Wind to this day, um, my mother especially finds it at a very romantic, like has thinks the South at that time was very romantic, and doesn't understand, like thinks people are whatever because they because Gone with the Wind is problematic. Like anyways, she's one of those people. Oh my goodness. Which also, I watched a TikTok. I wonder if I can bring it up. I wonder if you'll be able to hear it if I were to play it. Because I didn't understand. Like, there's a lot of talk. Okay, so I'm going to, I don't know. This is also, we're going to talk about anti-black racism right now. Um, I never understood this conversation about, because there's lots of talk on social media about white people not bathing. And it's always Americans. And it's just like, I don't understand. Like, I grew up in Canadian white culture where you bathed every single day because you were dirty. Like, you're out there sweating and working, whatever. You bathe every day, sometimes twice a day, because you're dirty and you cannot. Like, that's not cool. But then I keep seeing like this talk about white people bathing maybe once or twice a week, including celebrities just going off and like boasting about how they only bathe their children like once a week or something like that. I'm like, that is gross. I don't like what is going on here with American culture where white people aren't bathing. And then I saw this TikTok from a black lady in the US talking about how she was having a conversation with somebody her age in the 40s, and they were talking about bathing and how they bring a washcloth with them when they go to people's houses for washing their behinds after they use the facilities in the Carolinas. I'm like, well, that is like, I've never heard that before. That's an interesting piece of culture that I never knew before. Anyways, they were having their conversation about their washcloths and just growing up, like how you brought your washcloths with you and just the frequency of bathing or whatever. And this old lady in her 70s turns to them and says to them, I understand why she bathes daily, pointing to black women, but why are you bathing daily when you're pure? And the white woman is like, excuse me, I don't understand. And she's like, well, you're white. Your skin is pure, so you don't have to bathe daily. She has, hello, Solange. How are you doing? And then points to the black lady and says she has to bathe daily because she's not pure, and you can't tell on black skin if you're dirty or not. So you have to bathe daily. And I'm watching this with my mouth open. And I'm saying they also saw the no washcloth conversation. So you know what I'm talking about, right? Mouth wide open. Like, I never knew this. I never knew that white people in America are taught that black skin is not pure and you can't see germs and dirt on it. And so you have to bathe more frequently than white people. And you're potentially ruining your purity if you're white if you bathe frequently. And I was just like, all these conversations. I'm glad you feel great, Solange. What are you working on tonight? Are you home from work? Are you alone tonight? So suddenly, all these conversations that I've seen online about bathing and frequency in America suddenly make so much sense. And the takeaway from this conversation was that that woman in her 60s or 70s has children in her 40s that she brought up to also believe, um, oh, you saw the white people don't use washcloth convo. Yeah. Okay, so that's another conversation. Yeah. Um, yeah, and this is where they were talking about washcloths, and I'm like, yeah, anyways. You need to be using a washcloth. You need to be scrubbing your. You don't have to scrub it off, but use a loofah or washcloth or something. You've been to Pride? Oh, cool. How was it? Um, But I was just in not disbelief because I obviously like it's, but that whole shock, like. So anyway, the whole takeaway. So this woman in her 60s or 70s, she has children in her 40s. That she's like that belief in her was so adamant that white people do not have to be as frequently as darker skinned people because they're pure. White people are pure. That she taught her kids that, and her kids, her grandkids are probably taught that as well. And so it's just like that basic anti-black racism that is still very much alive and well in the U.S. That of course a whole other lot of things are happening. Solange is saying it's very nice. A lot of people, cool. One year I'm hoping that I can go to Pride. I've never been because it's not safe for me for a few reasons. Um, but I'm hoping one year I can go safely and not have to worry about either getting sick or my own personal well-being. Um, because probably how we just started having Pride here where I live, and every year there's huge anti-queer protests from people. You never heard that before? Yeah, I haven't either. But this is in. I'm assuming she still lives in the Carolinas. She didn't. I don't remember if she. I don't remember if she said which Carolina. Um, but she has like she grew up in the Carolinas. I remember that much. But it was just such an eye-opening things like, well, that just makes so much sense now for so many things because it's not something I ever had ever. Yeah, you bathe like you bathe daily, especially because there's so much farming. I mean, we didn't grow up farming, but it's still you get sweaty and you get dirty and you have to bathe, especially though if you do work on a farm or if like we lived in a resource community, loggers and miners and stuff like that, and you just bathe. Oh, journal time. I have to put that in. Sometimes I'm like something feels empty. I wonder. Oh, that's not the right color. I wonder if I'll be able to get time in to study this week. Oh, I had took my first test this past week, and I got 90%, and I'm mad about it because technically I was correct in the answer, but they also it was one of those trick questions that could have gone either way, and whatever. I'm mad because I technically am right, but the way they worded it, they're technically right, and it makes me angry. Because it was based on people's feelings and not science. And I answered the question based on actual factual, on the factual, and not on the people feel. Because the question was the majority or lots of people feel. I should have paid attention to the word feel because people's feelings often do not align with the actual facts of the situation. And I was so mad afterwards because the health and um, nutrition course that I'm taking, because it's a counseling course and it's holistic, and yes, I have to deal with people's feelings, and I have to learn how to counter things that they believe because of those feelings that may not be. Anyways, but it still made me angry. Another saying they have to leave early today. So have a great week, everyone. See you next time. You have a great week too, Anomic. See you next week, unless something comes up and I have to cancel. Okay, back to this week. Let me put this color in before I forget. Um, I'm not gonna. I did so much yammering this week. I'm probably not gonna have time to finish setting up my week. Oh, I also didn't show last week like I normally did. Again, don't have too much deco in because I just haven't had time. I still have to do my flip. I should show you all. I should do it now. A quick flip now, like the week before. But what little deco I did put in for last week, I like. It's just, oh, I got the hiccups. Just enough to set off, give it a pop of color. Let's show you quickly, give you a sneak peek of the quick flip that I'm hoping I will have time to film later on today. So this is the end of this page. So my quick flip would start here on Saturday. And then we get to this day. And this day, I've been very, I don't want to say, maybe not minimal, but I've been trying, I guess it is minimal. I haven't been doing a lot of layering. So I did some here just because it needed it. But yeah, so this is where the quick flip would end. But I've been trying somewhat to have it kind of thematic over 2 days, even though the colors change from day to day, which is, I did it with the week before as well, which is kind of challenging when your color scheme changes from day to day. I don't know if I'm going to continue kind of doing it thematic because it is difficult, but I do like the way that it turned out last week. Okay, back to this. Dog food making day will be on Saturday. Deadline. How do I milk deadline? That's how I do it. Deadline to change my milk order and the deadline to change my HelloFresh order. Oh, okay. Oh, I do have to do my admin. There we go. 990. I am so brain foggy today. I'm just hopping all over the place. So what are you up to right now, Solange? You just hanging out? Do you have anything planned for tomorrow? Okay, do I have everything? I think so. Now, let's see if I can write stuff in. That was the wrong color. No, it isn't. It's just a new pen, and that feels darker than normal. Okay, continuing ed. Prep. Breakfast. Admin. Admin. Video. Edit. Recipe dev. Solange is saying that they have a cup of tea and enjoying hearing my voice. Thank you. What kind of tea? Is it like a black tea or like a standard black tea orange pico or type thing, or is it some fancy flavor? Or is it green tea? I love tea. I used to have a tea subscription box that I used to regularly get, and I had to stop because I had to stop doing caffeine after 2 o'clock. I used to be able to drink caffeine right until bed and not have a problem with it. And then something happened, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago. I don't want to say something happened. It just 3 or 4 years ago, suddenly I could not consume caffeine anymore after 2 p.m. if I wanted to sleep. And for me, coffee is in the morning. and tea is in the afternoon. That's just how I was raised and how I like it. Every now and then I will do some extra, like I will do a masala chai if I can remember it in the morning, but otherwise, tea doesn't. I need to make tea fit my. I mean, there's lots of decaffeinated teas. I just find like I want a good like I love masala chai. It's my favorite, but I want like even Earl Grey. I like this is okay. So that J is a Y sound. So Louis Fee your so it's like a Leostal. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know the J is not a J sound. It's like a yeah, like in fjord. So Leostal T that makes here where you live. Cool. I know I butchered that. I tried. I know it's not. I understand how it works, but the vowels are not vowels that my mouse is used to saying. So I'm sorry for butchering that. I should not have tried. Exercise, deload plus spin, and then exercise, spin. You live in. Okay, I'm gonna try again. So it's a yeah. Louis Dahl. So it's like Louis maybe? Louis Dahl? Light Valley. Oh, yes, I see that now because I know Dahl is a valley. So yeah, but it's like Louis. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, how do you do that after an L? I wish I could have a conversation with you, so I could figure out how to make my like after yeah like after an F. I'm used to the word fjord, so I know how to um do the J then. But when the J is has a U afterwards, it's the you have to move your tongue in a way that is not a way that my tongue wants to move. Deload plus weight. No, cardio. Oh no, I messed that up, but I can fix it. Is this? Yes. Back to full week. Did I not? Okay. What time is it? Oh, gotta do this. And then exercise. Weights plus cardio. I think I have to end here. I did too much chattering, and so I didn't get a chance to finish. Oh, it's my friend Travis's birthday on the 19th, so I have to put that here. Travis's birthday. And then on the 22nd is my friends Gord and Carson's birthday. It's not easy with Swedish, but I did pretty well. Thank you. I tried. Yeah, Swedish, it's not, yeah. The Nordic languages are not easy. Sometimes I think I want to learn them because it's just so different. Like I know French and English, and just because it's so different, the way that your tongue moves, just for the challenge. But it's challenging. I know intellectually how that J is supposed to sound. Okay, so with that, I'll finish the rest of this off camera. I would like to thanks for joining me, Solange. I'm glad that you had a good Pride. Happy Pride. Thanks for everybody else who watched this and didn't talk and chat. You're awesome as well. Thank you to everybody who's going to watch this on replay. You're always amazing. I'm like a lot of you watch it all the way through, and that's to me is amazing. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. It helps people, it helps the algorithm show it to people. Um, Give it a like, hit that subscribe button. If you are not subscribed already, you take care as well, Solange. And join me next Saturday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. British time, where we do this all over again. If something comes up, I will leave. Tammy's saying, very well done. Thank you. Thank you, Tam, for saying, I'm glad you watched. Um, Come say hi again. Come watch again. Um, or don't say hi. You can just listen. That's fine. So yeah, subscribe. And if I something happens and I can't do my stream next week, then I will leave a message in the community tab. So check that out if you are like, where's Jules and where's the stream? And hopefully this week, finally, I'm not going to make any promises, but the goal is to get my planner hopping video, my planner chat, why I hop planners video up this week. So until next time, I hope everyone has a safe and fabulous week. Bye.